Test.
How about all the guys that ordered the? Well, originally, right? It was called the. It was the Anan 8000 DLE Mark II 500 watt version that never came to be, and then they changed it to a 1,000 watt, and now it's a 1,500 watt radio, and that's been well over 2 years, and nobody's seen one yet.
And these guys put down money on it, right?
Yeah.
And that's a bad business policy, I'll tell you. When you take somebody's money for light after 2 years, and that's not good.
Is Apache Labs in a financial bind? Does anybody know? I mean, you hear various stories, but do they have a financial issue?
I couldn't answer that.
I know they had didn't they have a parts issue during back in 2020? I thought they had some kind of import parts issues situation going on.
Well, yeah, Steve. They had it was with the FPGAs, right? They had the Cyclone 4 and then they went to the 5, with the 7000 series, right? Which would cause everybody to have a different firmware version, but and then they couldn't get any more, so they had to stop. According to them, that's why they stopped making the 7000.
A1GMM, I got it. Do you know what is the G2, right? The reason why I got the G2 is because I was more intrigued with being able to run the radio standalone, because I've always wanted. That's why I looked at a 6400M, stuff like that. And I'm going to run it today. I'm going to set it up to run standalone and see how that goes. Just no external monitor, whatever. But what I'm assuming the board is different from a 7000 DLE Mark. What is the last Mark? Mark II, Mark III, Mark IV? I don't know. What's the biggest? Take the computer and everything else out of it. Is there any real difference? I'm very skeptical on this, because I was looking. I was actually would have preferred like a 7000. I did respond to a couple ads, and they never got back to me. So I don't know if they had sold them or what was going on. I was looking for one used, a certain year range. You know what I mean? But I'm really curious, hardware wise, if this radio is considered an improvement, or is it mostly because it's capable of running standalone and basically the same thing in a different box?
K1SR here. So the way I understand it, okay, and I think I have this correct, but performance-wise, there should be no difference. There is no difference between the 7000 and the G2 performance-wise, but as far as so that was the what do you have? Oh geez, I can't think of the board that's in the 7000 off the top of my head, but the one that's in the G2 is called the Saturn, and the difference is it's got a larger FPGA in it, and it also has a PCI Express that bridges with the Raspberry Pi, and so the Raspberry Pi is taking some of the load for communicating back and forth with the computer. So that was supposed to be less drop packets and just a better solid connection. So with that respect, it's supposed to be better. And also at some point down the road, you're supposed to be able to run it remote. So but that remains to be seen. But that's one of the things they advertise if you go to their website, not implemented yet or something like that, or software-wise been put together yet. So that's what I understand the difference to be. And just for some clarity, so I have the non-display version, but I can still run it standalone. I just need to, there's two on the stand. I don't know if you have two also, but on the, I imagine it's almost identical. It is identical, but I have two HDMI ports on the back of the radio with two USB ports. So run a keyboard, run a display and a mouse, and I can do the same thing. I just don't have the display pasted on the front. But so Chaz has run his with Pi HBSDR. I've heard him run it several times with that. The only difference that I know is there's no CFC. There's no CFC to they don't implement that in the Pi HBSDR, but you do have pure signal.
Okay. I don't run the CFC, so that's not an issue. Does it still have, because you have very basic, like in Thetis, a very basic transmit and RX, TX and RX equalizers? And I'm assuming you have compression available if you want to do a little processing, stuff like that, right?
Yeah, that's all in there. That's all available. There's actually quite a bit available. It's not as stripped down as you think it is, but definitely is not as feature packed as Thetis.
Yeah, there was one comment I was going to make, and then you can keep handing it around. One thing I noticed right away is it's pretty quiet, and the cooling on this thing, it's about freaking time they did something about the cooling on these radios. This radio runs stone cold, and I was yapping long overs last night and this morning. Sorry about that. And let me put my hand. Good heavens, the top of the case is ice cold. This thing does not even get warm, so they got that figured out. They got the top-mounted fan now, so it evacuates with venting. The entire sides are all vented. Is the top? It's just the exhaust fan. I don't know if the bottom's vented. I never looked underneath. So yeah, they got that. They nailed that, and it's about freaking time is all I can say.
Yeah, Steve, how do you like your new ACOM 2000?
So far, I like it. The thing will snort some fire. It's pretty scary. Don't take much either. I'm not sure how much power I'm driving into it, but I'm getting about 400 to, there's 450 right there, just idling. And the drive level's at 16 on the Thetis, so I'd have to change the meter. ALC, I could tell you how much drive I'm putting in, but I think 40 watts drive will get me legal limit, I believe. It's not a low drive amp, but I like it. And to be honest with you, Louis asked me about the PW1. I have to say that the PW1 is so easy to operate compared to this ACOM. It is absolutely amazing. That PW1, now granted, it's only a kilowatt amplifier, but I say that only. I mean, really, you need more than a kilowatt? But that freaking thing, you place it on the appropriate band if you don't have like an ICOM or you don't have the syncing ability. Just run it like a standalone amp, not connected to the radio, which is the way I've always ran it. Just select the band, and you just put like literally a 2-watt carrier on. Just hit the tune button, and you watch the meter. It goes boop, 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 flatter than a freaking pancake, and that thing will tune anything. I've never had any instability with that amplifier. It is an absolute gem. It really is. To be honest with you, it's way easier to deal with that amplifier compared to this ACOM. The ACOM, you have to go, if you want to tune it, you have to go to a separate menu for auto tune. Click it, hit it with a carrier. It'll tune usually in 3 seconds or less, which is about, from a raw tune, that's what the PW1 is like. But and then of course it remembers everything, which is nice. I think it will store 10 memories per band segment, I should say. But it works good, really well so far. Only had it for 48 hours.
Do you have the RF deck on a dolly?
You should see the freaking support. I knew how heavy it was going to be. And yeah, this thing freaking sucks. It is heavy. I built a stand. I'm going to take a picture of it and put it on the YouTube because I the shack is changing rapidly. So people will be like, good Lord. Built a stand for it out of 2x4s, painted it antique white, which is what the room is painted. And looks okay. But I'll tell you what, Johnson, I'm 200 pounds, and I stood up on top of that and jumped up and down. I figured, yeah, she's going nowhere because that thing is heavy. And I had what am I going to do, throw it on the floor? I wouldn't be putting that on just any old table, over.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, I know a friend of mine, Joe Enwin, VJJ, he's got one, and I think it's like 90 pounds. He's got his on a dolly because you'll throw your back out.
Oh, I ain't moving this ever. I'd have to. The only way I'm getting this out of here, just to get it off the table, I think it's 96 or 98 pounds or something like that. I'd probably pull the transformer, which is half of the weight of the entire amplifier. Comes in 2 separate boxes. And I'd probably box them up and I'd put them on a hand truck and take it out that way, because I brought the amplifier down by hand. And even that was a little bit of a challenge coming down the stairs. It weighs 40-something pounds, which, I carry pellets, 40-pound bags of pellets, so it's not that big of a deal down the stairs. But no, fully assembled, hell no.
Yeah, very, very heavy, very heavy. Is that the newer version you got with the newer display?
Roger.
Oh, great, great. Yeah, that's nice. No, it's a nice amp, and the tubes are still somewhat inexpensive. And no, that's a good amp. It's a good workhorse. I never see anybody complain about him. So, you got a good amp there. Hey, go ahead, Sean. Say a few words. Maybe you got some questions. Go ahead.
WZ when you.
John? He's tired of listening to this bull crap.
Yeah, go ahead, Rob, if you're still there.
Oh, I'm sorry. I am so sorry. I was just answering a text back. Somebody just asked me a question, and I was just answering them back. My bad. So I was listening to Steve at the same time, but WZ1U, Steve, didn't you have an ACOM as well?
Yeah, I had an ACOM 2100 and the 1500, and I sold the both of them, and I landed up getting the 2 Mercury Luxes. So that's what I'm running the Lux now.
Ah, okay, yeah. I know. Don liked his. He was pretty happy with his, but they're supposed to be pretty rock solid amplifier, as I understand. But I've never had one. No, I'm just running. I have matter of fact, I'm on my little SPE 1.3, and putting out about 550 watts, and that's it, And then I still have my Alpha 9500, which that's I'm not moving that. That'll die in its place.
Yeah, that's a good amp, Rob. Yeah, Don had very good luck with his 2000 when he had it, and always sounded good with it. So they have a good workhorse. The only unfortunate thing about them, like Steve was just explaining, they're heavy. 95 pounds, 98 pounds just for the RF deck, and that's a lot to move around. So if, you wouldn't want to ship it out if you can help it. Steve, did you have that shipped to you, or did you buy that locally?
Oh no, that came from DX Engineering. They shipped it. It was funny because the amp arrived, and I was like, I looked at the UPS driver. I said, "There's supposed to be 2 packages. Do you have another package?" He says, "No, this is it." And I was like, "Okay, there's supposed to be a transformer." So I got on the horn with DX Engineering, and they're like, "Okay, let me check." So I hung up the phone. He called me back like 15 minutes later. He says, "Oh, they sent it through FedEx." He says, "I don't know why they did that, but the RF deck, the amplifier came UPS, and then literally 4 hours later, FedEx showed up with a transformer. I don't know why." And there was something else I was going to mention. It's kind of funny, regardless of what you think of him. I don't know if you know Callum, DX Commander. I can't remember his call. He's all over YouTube. He's got a big YouTube channel. I stumbled upon. I knew he used an ACOM 2000. And I was watching one of his videos, and basically in a nutshell, he said, and go check that video out. He beats the crap out of that thing, and he's had it for years. Takes it out portable. He takes it, does field days with it. It doesn't just sit in the shack. He takes it with him. I don't know how he freaking moves it. He's a big guy, but I don't understand how he moves it. He said the only thing that ever happened to it that is, and he beats the crap out of it physically. It's like virtually indestructible, he said. It's crazy. That's one reason I've always wanted one anyways, just because of that reputation. The RF input broke. The cable on the inside snapped off. That takes a lot of jarring around and impact to break something like that off. He says it's the only thing that ever happened to it. And then the other thing, there's a guy from Australia. They are used in military applications. Military uses them. He couldn't talk about where they were for obvious reasons, but he's a technician and stuff. And he said they're very robust and they're capable of withstanding, really harsh environments. So I kind of looked at that and I thought, well, yeah, let's see, buy a house or buy the ACOM 2000A or buy a high-end car. And that explains a whole lot. Needless to say, the wife she acts happy for me, but I know she's not. K1GMM.
Yeah, okay, Steve, very good. Oh, okay, I'm buying you new. No, that'll last you a lifetime now. Christ, the only thing I would buy, and you don't need that for years down the road, but maybe if you ever come across somebody sewing a new set of spare tubes, put them aside. But they're still very, very, in today's price on things, still inexpensive. But no, it's you picked a good choice on an amplifier.
I can't believe you said that because I already found some. I got thinking, I thought, okay. Because you never know what's going to happen in the future, and you can't use it if a tube goes down. So I thought about just picking up a spare set, a matched pair, and you can get them. So where the 4CX, I can't remember the number. So yeah, I've already eyeballed that. Not particularly cheap. Match pair kind of hurts, and they're in vacuum seal packages. They've been tested. Shoot, man, I can throw those on the shelf. If I'm still alive in 10 years, I can throw them in. You know what I mean? Anyways, yeah, whoever gets it.
I'm off to the treadmill. I'll see you guys later. Good luck with the new radio, Steve. And Steve, you take it easy. And Rob, if you're still listening, Louis, WA1Y. Talk to you later.
See you, John.
Take care,
73, John. You have a great day.
Yeah, Steve, there's a guy on QTH he's from Russia, and he does occasionally throw out those tubes out for sale. I guess he has a pretty good source, and they're brand new. I don't know if that's who you maybe found them, but he's got a Russian call there. You may want to check that out on QTH, but he does throw them out, and he has sold quite a few of them. So just something I just mentioned.
Nope, that's not the place. So I will definitely check that out. There's no embargo or anything or block Can we get stuff from Russia right now?
I believe so, because this guy's been selling for quite a while. Matter of fact, I'm going to go look to see if I can get his call. But every once in a while, he throws them out there, and I don't know if there's Slavana's those tubes, but he does put them out there. And I don't know, they're like maybe, I don't know, 600 for the pair, match pair, 700, something like that.
Wow, that's a good price, because I've seen him around $1,000 for a match pair.
Oh no, he's cheaper than that.
For what tube is it?
With the 4CX 800.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's it. Hey, did you guys see Richie's? I don't think he did it on video. I think it was a Discord. Richie, the guy that develops the Thetis software. This is really, and I wonder if this is what he's working on. I know you guys don't have a son, but I love my little SDR2DX, as you probably know. The front end is beautiful on that thing. And it's got basically an onboard DAW built into it. It's amazing. And I guess Richie, tell you where I'm going with this. I was talking to somebody and they said, yeah, he was, I guess he gets on Discord or something, and they have a big round table or something like that for development purposes. And he says, oh, check this out. He's got one. And he pulled it up on the screen and people were like, holy crap, look at that. Oh yeah, it's money, baby. He was showing them all the stuff you can do with that expert. It's like a CFC, but it's not. It smokes Thetis, absolutely smokes. He develops Thetis, so he put it on the screen. And I have a feeling this is something to watch for. He didn't say this, but I have a feeling he's going to incorporate that into Thetis, which would be absolutely insane if he did something like that. Because it's the most powerful onboard processing system I've ever seen in any amateur radio. So if we could get that in Thetis or something similar to that, that's a game changer, an even bigger game changer right there.
Well, that was me.
That was you?
Yeah.
You were you telling me about it?
No. Somebody must have been. I gotta look. I'm listening because I don't mean to digress, but we have woodpeckers, and so I try to keep suet out there all year round because I have a log house, and they like to hit the side of the house here, and as soon as I hear them, I have to go out and shoo them off, you know. Anyways, that's not what I was hearing. So Richie, so Discord is a gaming. Basically, a gaming platform is an app, and it's a gaming platform app, and he was trying to get it so that he could get a lot of the people asking certain things on GitHub and try to get it organized in a different platform, and so he did it with Discord, which was fantastic, and so if you haven't joined that yet, Steve, you gotta check it out because there's just so many things that you can follow and see what's going on and see what people are, if they're having an issue, is it something that's on their end, or is it something with the software, and he'll work with you. And there's also some chat channels and there's video channels where you can share screens, and that's what he was doing one day. And I was just testing out my end to try to go into one of those video rooms, and he came in, and so we just got talking, and he goes, yeah, a few things that he says, eventually I want to containerize everything, and he says, the GUI's been around a long time. He says, if everything is containerized, then you can make it your own and, add, or he says he's actually going to make them into profiles, like transmit profiles. So you can have different layouts in a profile, and just hit a button, and boom, there's your profile for Ragju. There's one for this or for DX or whatever. But anyways, he did bring up he brought up the Sun SDR software, and he just wanted to show me a couple of things that he liked that were the way that the sliders worked, and he liked that. And then when he went into the audio section, I said, whoa, wait a minute. What is that EQ? He goes, oh, yeah. He says, that's nice, huh? I said, yeah. I said, but look, but Richie, can you adjust the Q? He goes, oh, yeah. And so he starts adjusting the Q. And I said, oh, man. I said, that's what we're missing in Thetis. I said, we can't. And I said, plus they're not sweepable. So if you're, for voice, around 250, 350 range, depending on your own personal voice, I said, if you could do a narrow Q and then, and then put the gain up and just sweep back and forth to find out where the unwanted frequencies are, you can go in there and make a nice surgical cut. And I said, man, I said, oh, that is sweet. And then he was showing me the rest of the transmit audio processing there. Yeah. So you're right, Steve. That was pretty impressive with that piece of it. K1SR.
Yeah, go ahead, Rob. Isn't it? I use that. I have it all set up. I have all the profiles stored. I want to load one, bang, bang. And it's powerful. Like I use the filters. It's got I don't know if he showed you the filter section. Good Lord, dude. You got high pass, low pass. So I have all the high and low pass filters set up for the different profiles, whether it's a DX, 3 kilohertz. I got multiple 3 kilohertz profiles, a full-blown, full spectrum 3K from like 40 to 3 with a whole separate EQ set up. You can brick wall it so it won't pass anything. And it's got, in the filter section, it's got notch, high and low pass. Oh gosh, there's a bunch of them in there. And you can apply them all in combinations with each other. It's the coolest freaking thing. I had the radio for like 3 years and I never even looked at it. And I started looking at it going, holy crap. Yeah, to not use that on that radio is nuts. Go ahead, Rob.
Well, I don't want to hog it there. We still got Steve with us, and I was pretty impressed with it, with that portion of it, anyways. Everything. Hey, what? Before I go any further, what version of Thetis are you running?
I think it's the newest one. It's 2.10.3.6.
.6 is it? But is it working? What does he call it? Work in progress 6 Bravo or something like that.
Good question. So I got firmware 2.0 protocol and RC3. So this is the RC3.
Oh, you got the latest and greatest. Great, good for you.
Yeah, there's a couple things that I don't like because I came from the old Thetis. The database management is a pain in my ass, but it's actually better than it used to be because it auto updates, but I had to kind of hack my way through, probably. It's not the same as it used to be. So I couldn't even find it. And I was looking right at it in the setup. You click setup, there's 2 things there. You got the setup and then you have the database management. And I clicked on that, and it's got all these options. See, the reason why I'm a little annoyed with it is because I have to relearn things. Like, I don't save. I always back up my databases because if something happens to the computer, you don't want to back them up to the default directory. You want to take the database, copy it, or back it up to an alternate directory on like a separate hard drive in case your operating system goes down. Because to set these databases up is a pain in the ass, as you know, right?
Yeah. So So he's got a couple of videos out there on just about this new database manager, and it took me a couple of times to get my arms wrapped around it, right? But in the end, it is way better than what he had before. Now, you still can export anywhere you want. You can still do that, but there's really no need to since you can take a backup right there and it puts it down below in this. So, Steve, WZ1U, we're talking about the way that you would import a database. Well, now there's a database manager in the newer version of Thetis. And once you understand what's going on there, it works really, really well. And you can name it. It gives you the opportunity to put a prefix in there for easy ID, that type of thing. And the more you work with it, the more you're going to say, oh wait, this thing is pretty slick. Sometimes we get used to what we have been using for a long time, and sometimes I'm not the greatest at embracing change when I'm comfortable with something. But once I did, I said, oh no, this is way better.
You turning it back to me, Rob?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I don't know what version of Thetis you're running, Steve, but anyways, the latest version. I mean, there's how you have the containers for meters, for digital meters. Well, now there's containers for a lot of different things.
Yeah, I still got 3.5, Rob. You said an exact word just a second ago, change. I don't like change. So once I get used to something, boy, but eventually I'll have it upgraded, and I'm not good. I'll probably have to ask you if you could help me down the road, but I'll wait until it's the release. They do the release on it, on the latest, the 3.6. I know they're still playing around with it, but no, I only get 3.5.
Well, 5 is very, very stable. So there's nothing wrong with that. You could run that for a long, long time.
And I heard with the 3.6 is that noise reduction's a lot. The noise reduction, the NR2 is a lot better.
It is, and Steve. K1GMM. I'm sure you already know all about it, but anyways, Steve, yeah, what Dr. Pratt went in and improved it not once but twice. And so now there's 2 sliders when you go into setup. There's to make adjustments to NR2. There's a couple of sliders there called T1 and T2, and what was going on was the first one was an improvement on the noise reduction, but it was hard to get a compromise between. You're starting to lose, low signals. You're starting to lose them, and he went in and did a revision and gave us a second slider. So now they're labeled T1 and T2, and between the two of them, now you can adjust NR2 so that you still hear the weak signals, and but still get the noise reduction quality there. So that's kind of cool.
Hey, where is that? Chaz was telling me about it. I can't find it. I'm in the DSP NRANF right now, and it's not in there.
No, if you just right click on NR2, it'll take you right to the screen, and then if you go to the right under NR2 and come straight down, about in the middle, it says trained threshold T1 T2. Are you there?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was there. And I forget. See, that's something else has changed. Being able to right click right on the GUI. It popped the window up and I'm like, hey, check it out. I'm assuming you can do that with all the stuff or most all the stuff in there. All right. I'm there. It's train threshold. So I got T1 at minus 0.5 and T2 at 0.20.
Right. So what you can do is the way I adjusted it was I set it so that I heard everything, so I could hear everything, including the noise. And then I just kind of found out where the threshold was for each one of those, and that ended up with the settings that I have, which work really well for me. So, for example, Steve, I got trained is ticked off, right? Threshold T1 is minus 3.8 and T2 is 0.18. So it lets a little bit of background noise through, but it's the compromise of still hearing a weak signal. Now for Rag 2, when everybody is, no less than S9 and 10, 20, 30 over, yeah, then you can probably raise those up a little bit. But so that's just personally where I left mine. And by the way, then the last one is, the last two is at the bottom of that column is NSTAT is ticked off, and there's a check mark on AE filter.
Okay, give me those numbers again. But before you do, generally on this band, where is your noise floor? Like right now, the band's tight, and my noise floor on the spectrum's running about minus 134.
Yeah, and that's about where I'm at too. Yeah, so the band's been very quiet at the moment. I think I heard Carl in there.
No, this is Chris at Port Jefferson. Good morning, and hi, Steve. Just wanted, I've been listening. That's how I am. All right, KZ2 in here. What version of Thetis do I need to have those sliders? Because I've always wanted to control that a little better, easier. So that brought me out of the woodwork. Anyway, good morning from KZ2N here in Port Jefferson.
Hey, Chris, go ahead, Steve. You can tell him.
Oh, okay. Hey, Chris, good morning. Hope all is well. It's 2.10.3.6, and it's RC3, which I think it's the absolute current version, and it is not beta, I don't believe, right, Rob?
Right. It's called Release Candidate 3. So it's not the official release yet.
Oh, okay. That's what that stands for. Yeah.
I'm running that version, but my version's back from January of 2024. When I right click on my NR2, I don't see any sliders on the screen. And it just, a bunch of, up and downs, that I could do. But it's not like a slider you drag and drop. Maybe I don't have, am I misunderstanding what slider means?
Yes, that's what I did too. They're not sliders in the sense you should see two checkboxes. If you're in the NR2 DSP panel and you look over NR2 and you look down, you should see train threshold and then a T1 and T2, right? You see those?
I don't think Chris is running RC3.
Oh, yeah. If his is that old, no. Yeah, because this is fairly new. That's right.
An RC3. I'm running an older version. So, okay. So I got to get the newer version. I'll do that.
Yeah. And Steve, did I call them sliders? I meant they're what do they call them? Spinners.
Yeah. You call them sliders. That's what had me, because I'm looking at it. I'm going, there are no sliders here. But right when you said train threshold and T1 and T2, I knew exactly what you were talking about. Give me those numbers if you're still in there again, because your noise floor is very similar to mine. So I'll give that a shot and then tweak from there. I need the T1 and T2 if you could.
Yeah. Okay. So it's minus 3.8 for T1, and then T2 is 0.18. And like I said, for me, I'm letting a little tiny bit of background noise come through so that I can hear the weakest signals in case somebody comes in that is looking for a you know how it is. Somebody might be looking for a radio or a signal report with a new antenna they just put up or something like that, But
no, I don't like that.
Once you do that, you can just slide off where you don't
hear it,
where you're just listening to the noise floor, and
it's
you can
got
play
a weird
with T1 and T2, and
this is off.
You'll see how they work together, and it's kind of cool.
Yep, gotcha. Okay, yeah, Chris. I assume Steve's still in here, right? So we got Steve, Rob, and you, Chris. What have you been doing, anyways? I take it you're. I know, and Chris, who said that before? Was it Steve, or was it you, Rob? I don't know. I'm a lot like that. And I said this to Chaz. When this thing is complete and it's up and running, I'm telling you what, and I'm done tweaking it, which I'm very close right now. I ain't touching the freaking thing. I ain't touching it because I like. It took me 2 years to get the 200 stable. I mean, rock solid stable. And once I got it stable, it was an absolute joy to run. Never had an issue after that, So did a couple hardware upgrades. Got it off the local LAN. Had some people help me with some settings because I didn't have any help for 2 years. I just hacked my way through it and basically, tried to learn as much as I could, but you really need help with these radios. If you've never run one before, you gotta, don't tear your freaking hair out, man. Because you will. A lot of people will just sell them. I know you see them, right? People buy one and they'll be like, nah. And they only give it like a week or a few days or an hour. Good luck with that. Go ahead, Chris.
Well, you know what? The only reason that I decided to get the Anan is because I knew I had a lot of people to, I don't know, not do it for me. I put a little bit of effort into it. I bought the equipment, but no, I had some good friends set it up for me because they remoted into the shop PC here at the shack, and and I certainly have learned a lot, obviously, but getting started on my own, no way. So anyway, I'm glad I did. I have the 7000 Mark III, which is probably one of very, very few people that have one, as it was one of the last ones that they shipped. So I do like it, and it's a nice radio. And I have the Flex 6600. I like that also. I don't like it for rag chew, but for FT8, it's very, very good. And I've been doing a lot of FT8. I've actually won some awards on QRZ. I don't think I've ever won any awards for ham radio. But anyway. All right, Steve, good to hear you in there. I'm just downloading the latest release, RC3, and I'm interested to see, because NR2 is fantastic, and that will be another way to tweak it. So I'm interested to see how that works. KZ2N, good morning to all of you in the group, and I've enjoyed this. I've been listening here probably for an hour and a half. But you drew me out with the feature of NR2 to even get better. So appreciate that.
73, Chris, from K1SR.
Yeah, nice to hear you, Chris. Maybe catch you on 40 at some point. Sounding good as always. Always awesome.
Yeah, take care, Chris. WZ on you.
Hey,
just my little Ori 27. I know there's a discussion about that. You could. Can you
access QRZ while you're on the air?
I bought it in 2008. I said I'm going to buy this microphone, and it'll be the last microphone I'll ever need. And now, not that I didn't have a Neumann, and I've tried that microphone, and I always come back to the 27, and it's a 27 into the radio with the voice meter potato, in the Anan. So, It's very, very simple, inexpensive, and it works.
Yeah, it does. Yes, it does. There was a question for somebody.
Yeah, I started to double there with Chris. My mistake. No, I was asking WZ1U Steve. Can you access QRZ on your computer without while you're on the air?
Right now?
Yeah, I didn't know if you had a second, you could go to my QRZ page and then click on my live stream, and it'll show you the layout of the screen I have right now.
Okay, I'm getting in there right now.
I'm going to be changing servers, so there's like about a 2 to 3 second lag. So don't mind that. And I got the audio just shut off just for that reason.
Okay. Yeah, I'm in there now. How do you click that on?
Okay, so it says click on my live stream, and just over to the right is the actual link.
Hey, you guys, good morning. We do an update. Got a major updates going in the shack. So I'm on an Anan G2 right now. And picked it up used. And as you can see, there's no noise reduction on right here. That's just the RxD AP system. That shows you how good it is. And I'll be doing some stuff on that. I can hear it immediately when NR2 comes in because it's there is some artifacting there. So I don't use it, even with the new AI system that supposedly is in there. But cool radio. Anyways, I like it. We'll get into that more later. And we'll catch y'all later. I figured I'd just throw that up there. See you soon.